Welcome to Behind the Scenes. I am your host, Hector Montalvo. This show is dedicated to asking tough questions for you, the viewers. We bring you their responses, and we let you decide. We've invited all potential candidates running to be the next city councilor for the Central District. One of those candidates have refused to be open and transparent to you, the viewers. We respect her right not to appear on our show, but we reserve our right to still question them in their absentia. We will not be telling you her name, but joining us today at our MCTV studios, we are joined by no other than a person who's declared that he will be open and transparent to all the people of Methuen that he seeks their votes, Mr. Dave Lavalle. Mr. Lavalle, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Hector. I appreciate you having me on.
Mr. Lavalle, for all those people, and I know that you've been involved in government and local politics here in Methuen for a while, but for those people that don't know who Dave Lavalle is, who is Dave Lavalle?
Me. That's not enough? No, my name is David Lavalle, and I've been in Methuen for approximately 25 years. I own a house on Tower Street, 65 Tower Street. I have a lovely wife of 30-plus years. I have 5 children. 3 of them are married. My son is presently in the Army, serving actively in Hawaii, unfortunately, and he hasn't invited Dad yet. And I have 2 lovely girls still left in the house, 18 and 12 years old. Again, I've been living in my house, the house I bought approximately 16 years ago.
Now, Mr. Lavalle, we know that you've run in the past, and what made you decide to run this time around?
Well, in all honesty, I ran because somebody, and I'm not going to use any names, but somebody encouraged me to run. And the second reason is mostly because obviously the 2 Central District councilors are term limited out. And obviously that's the best chance to get in. They no longer have superiority over everything, and I think obviously we're going to have new faces in the Central District, and I'd rather them be mine.
Now, what do you bring to the table? What do you bring forward for the people of Methuen who will be deciding this election?
Well, again, one of the things I bring is independence. I've made it very clear, and by the way, I hand out my literature, and Al DiNuccio will even tell you, I'm famous for my orange flyers. And by the way, we're coming to the District 2 tomorrow. We're starting to pass them out. I've got 1,200 I've got to pass out, me and my wife. But what I offer is total independence. I've never taken a campaign fund. I've never taken any endorsement. You know, whether or not somebody chooses to endorse me, that's their business. But even a couple times ago when I ran, Steve Bedore sent me a $100 check, and I had to call his office. We ended up shredding the check because there is no committee to elect Dave Lavalle, which basically means nobody's going to buy me, and I am going to be guarantee you, I will be the only independent thinker.
Now, it's interesting that you do say that because we have looked over your campaign finance report and noticed that you don't have a committee. If the cost of entry to become city councilor is about $3,000 to $4,000, as one of your other opponents have raised, how do you expect to win?
I just simply, my brochures do the talking for me. And I have faith in the people of Methuen that they're going to look beyond the money.
So you're publicly stating that you will not be taking donations from any special interest groups, any local unions, or any politicians?
Well, nobody, period. Not any designated anything. None, period. I will not take a dime from anybody. I don't want dimes. I want votes.
What type of message do you think it sends to the people when you don't accept donations from special interest groups or lobbyist firms or politicians? What kind of message does it send?
Well, to be honest with you, I mean, I've found people to say that's great. And they're very interested in that because, again, they know nobody's going to own me. And again, Hector, nobody's going to own me anyways. But I guess call it gullible, call it naive, call it whatever you want. But I'm just a firm believer if you get your message out there, which I have. Obviously, even one of my opponents 2 years ago when he was sitting on the panel after the election said, "You surprised me." So I'm going to surprise him again.
Well, Yeah, we definitely wish you luck. But let me ask you something. On a personal level, tell us, what is a day like for Dave Lavalle?
What is a day like?
What is a regular day like for the average regular Dave Lavalle, from the minute you wake up to the time you go to bed?
Well, I work for Aramark Uniform Services. I deliver uniforms to various areas on my route. Basically, as soon as I get up, I go to work, and I come home. You know, yeah, I work hard.
What do you think is the most important issues facing the residents of Methuen in this election cycle?
Well, to me, the only message I've heard is the budget. That's the only message. Contrary to all these nice people that keep saying different things, oh, it's this, that, we love our services, we don't love our services. I haven't heard that at all. All I've heard from people is, look, keep the taxes low. We're tired of taxes going up every year.
So that's what you're hearing out on the campaign trail from the people, to keep their taxes low.
Right, yep,
now,
that's exactly.
Have you taken any pledge not to increase taxes or vote for a tax increase if you're elected?
I haven't officially, but I will now. I absolutely. And again, as I met you at the first mayoral forum, I like what Al DiNuccio said very clearly. He said he's going to present to the council, if he's elected, a balanced budget. And if I'm on that council, I'm going to hold him to that. That's what you said. Don't expect a yes vote unless you present that to the council.
As a city councilor, let's say you are elected, what type of questions in regards to the budget should the people expect to hear from Dave Lavalle asking from the rest of the members and even the mayor who may be presenting you a budget? Like, what kind of questions in regards to tax increases, or what kind of questions would you ask for the average regular person?
You got me on that one.
With the budget, let's say the mayor comes over to you and proposes a budget to the city council.
Yep.
And that budget potentially has a tax increase. What type of questions would you ask in regards to the budget that would be presented to you in order to prevent a tax increase for the citizens of Methuen?
The only question I would ask is, why isn't it balanced? I mean, again, and I'm going to assume he's the front runner, but that's no guarantee he's going to win. But that's what Al DiNuccio said. He said, I will present a balanced budget. So I would ask him, why have you not done what you said you'd do? And Hector, I'm going to tell you right up front, I'm a man of my word. My word is everything to me. I am not going to get in office and change gears and be friendly to different people and stuff. And again, that's why I like the idea of not taking donations and stuff, because I don't want anybody to come up to me and say, hey, by the way, we got you in there. No, I got me in there. If I'm going to be in there, it's going to be because I did it. And again, that's all that matters to me.
Now, we just had a primary election, which you mentioned Al DiNuccio. He actually topped the ticket, came on top. There was a city councilor from the Central District who is term limit out, actually came in fourth. What type of message do you think that is sending to the politicians by Al DiNuccio taking first in the election?
Well, again, I think it clearly states the idea of we need new faces and new people, and not the same old, same old. The two councilors worked hand in hand, and Mr. Leahy was holding signs for Mr. Cronin out there, and we had some discussions and stuff, and very clearly it shows to me that even the Central District is ready for new people, and not the same old, same old. And I would just caution people, think seriously about who you're electing. You can elect a different face but the same person. You can do that. You're not doing that with me.
Now let me ask you something. What makes you different from your other opponents that are running up against you now?
Well, again, this form, I'm not taking any donations. There's no firefighters union, there's no police union, nobody's giving me money, there's no present or former candidates that are giving me money. And if they decided to be a smart aleck and give me some money, I'd send it back.
Now let me ask you this. Now, a lot of people run for different reasons, or some people run because they were recruited by the powers to be or the current administration or outgoing councilors or something. Who recruited Dave Lavalle to run for the city councilor this time around?
Dave Lavalle.
So no, you were not recruited by any politicians or anyone currently serving?
I wasn't recruited, no, but I was constantly asked, are you running, by a present counselor? And again, I'm not going to use any names or anything, but again, to be honest with you, that didn't make my decision. What made my decision, like I told you before, is the fact that, okay, the two present counselors are term limited out, and this is probably my best shot. To be honest with you, if I don't win this time, I'm all done running, you know, because obviously the people don't want me.
Now, let me ask you this. The city councilors voted to identify the mayor. Where do you stand on the issue of identifying public officials in their professional capacity?
That's a tough question, Hector. Two things. Number one, as far as Mayor Manzi, it has no effect on what I think because it's already done. It's history, it's whatever. To be honest with you, part of me leans towards yes, because if he is doing work as an official person, yeah, I don't think people should be able to sue him for that. But obviously, if it's political, then no, he shouldn't be. And again, to me, that's up to the city council to decide which way. As I watched the meeting when they actually made the vote, and Councilman Haja, I can't pronounce his name right, but anyways, he made it clear. The law says may indemnify. It doesn't mean you have to. So clearly, the council has an option to yes or no.
And just for the record, indemnification in the state of, in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, it's up to $1 million for the taxpayers on their professional capacity. The law, however, does not allow for a public official to be indemnified in their personal capacity if they intentionally violated someone's civil right. And that's also a $1 million thing. Now, let me ask you, you mentioned that you work, what was it that you do?
Aramark Uniform Services.
Okay. Now, with your schedule, do you see you having a hard time appearing to a city council meeting when it's scheduled? Or would you be available to attend those meetings?
Well, again, Hector, it goes back to my word. I don't take a job that I can't do. You know, it's that simple. And obviously, if after 2 years I feel as though I can't do that, then I won't do it. But no, I don't have any problem. I'll make the commitment to do it, period.
Now, you mentioned that besides taxes, and this is what you're hearing in the campaign trail, that people want lower taxes. They're tired of having their taxes increase. What other issues do you think the people are concerned about in regards to the city of Methuen? What would you like to work on for all the constituents in the Central District, besides keeping their taxes low?
Well, to be honest with you, one of my things that I see as the most important is, you know, and obviously as a city council, can you affect it that much? But jobs is, you know, if people aren't working, that's got to be a big concern. I'm a firm believer in the city council needs to be business friendly. We need to get businesses into the city and everywhere in the city. Yeah, would I like them to all be in the Central District? But I don't know if that really matters. I would just like to see the city of Methuen be very business friendly, because to be honest with you, that's where the money is. You know, when the mall moved out of what's now the Loop, you know, what was the value? $1 million? And now that it's the Loop, there's quite a bit more value there.
Now, the Central District is part of the Arlington District. What do you see needs to be done in the Arlington District to basically maybe improve the area, have more activities for children after school to go in? I know we have the program that's run by the GLCAC right now. What do you think Dave Lavalle would be able to bring to the Arlington District neighborhood?
Well, I'm not going to lie to you, Hector. I really haven't given that much thought. You know, I don't know at this point. Again, I'm not going to sit here and shoot garbage to you that's not true. Again, my biggest concern down there would be to make sure there's a police presence so that people feel safe in their house. That to me is number one. Apart from that, I'm not going to say, I don't really have the answer at this point.
Now, let me ask you this. You've been passing around orange flyers. Can you tell us what is in that flyer?
No, I can't tell you. I'll give it to you.
Yeah. Appreciate that.
No problem. That's why I brought it.
It says, Dave Lavalle for Central District Councilor for a real change. When you say for a real change, can you say what change, what real change?
Again, what I mean by that, and very simply put, is a new person with different ideas that, again, is not connected to anybody. None of my children need jobs. None of my children have jobs with the city of Methuen. None of my children will need it. I won't need it. My wife doesn't need it. My friend doesn't need it. My neighbor doesn't need it. There won't be any of that. There won't be a vote, and I don't care what anybody tells you. I'm sorry, I disagree with the concept that if your son or daughter is working for a particular department, that somehow you're going to be totally biased. My friend, my son and daughters are my life. I live for my daughters and my son. If they were involved in something, I can't be biased. You know, I'm mixing up the terms, but you know what I mean. I have to be biased.
Now, if you're elected, and obviously you've taken the first step by appearing on our show, and you have shown that you are going to be open and transparent, you do return calls, you do return your email messages as far as what we can see. But if you're elected, how open and transparent will Dave Lavalle be to all his constituents, whether they agree or disagree with them? Because as it stands right now, you do have some councilors there that may not agree with you, and they just tend to ignore you, ignore your emails, ignore your phone calls. Should we expect something like that from a Dave Lavalle?
Oh, sure. No. Well, the first thing I got to do, and my wife and I have already talked about it, I have a cell phone, obviously, and you can't help it. It comes with an answering service. But I have a house phone that still has the wires, and my oldest son-in-law kind of bugs me, and he says, well, what's that thing on the wall there that actually rings every now and then? The first thing I got to do, there's no doubt, if I'm elected, I've got to get an answering machine for that phone, because I don't have one now. If you called it now, it would ring off the hook, and it would ring. And if nobody's there, you're not going to get an answer. As far as email, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely believe in that. And again, I'm going to tell you the difference between me and everybody, period. This is, I know the question's coming up, is, and it'll be in one of the debates, are you for term limits? Philosophically, no. I don't believe in term limits, but realistically, if I get elected this time, I know I'm the result of a term limited out person. Because who knows, if the incumbents ran again, maybe they'd get all their friends out there and vote like they've done before, and I'd lose. So what I'm offering to the people is give me a chance. It's 2 years. I'm going to do exactly what I say I'm going to do. I'm going to be open, and I don't care if you want to invite me on the show. I'll come down and talk to you and debate an issue and this and that, and I'll listen. I pride myself on listening. But I would also guarantee you, in 2 years from now, I will go out and get my name on the ballot. I will get the 50 signatures and get on the ballot, but I will not run a campaign. I will totally let the people vote for me based on my record. And if they want to call me and tell me, hey, you did a good job, great, fine, vote for me. But I'm not going to do this again. And again, it's not because I'm lazy, it's not because I don't want to and stuff, but I believe, and again, call me naive, call me gullible, whatever it is, but I believe in the system that's created. If I can't run on my record, I don't want to run. I don't want to go out and tell people I'm going to do something and then not do it. I don't want to do that.
Well, I just want to remind the viewers, you are watching Behind the Scenes. I am your host, Hector Montalvo. We are joined in studios today with the Central District candidate for Central District, Councilor, Mr. Dave Lavalle. If you have a question that you want us to ask your government or legal representations, send us an email at thehectormontalvoshow@yahoo.com. You can also visit us on our webpage, behindthescenes.weebly.com, or join us on Facebook /Behind the Scenes with Hector Montalvo. Mr. Lavalle, getting away from the politics for a second, you mentioned that, you know, you have a family, you have children and so on, you're involved in your community, but what is a relaxing day for Dave Lavalle? When you're not out campaigning, you're not out, you know, what is a relaxing day for Dave
Sunday
Lavalle?
it's at 1 p.m. The Patriots are visiting Buffalo. I'll be sitting there in front of the game. That's relaxing. To be honest with you, one of the days, and again, I'm not hiding anything. Sundays is a very difficult day to get a hold of me. I go to church on Sundays. That's my priority. My family and I will be in church, so if you call me, leave a message on the answer machine because I probably won't get back to you on Sunday. But, yeah.
And also, I wanted to throw this out, and I've asked all your opponents the same question. Being that you're married, would you tell the viewers what is the cheapest date you've ever taken your wife to?
Denny's.
Denny's, huh?
But understand, I'm talking 30 years ago. Denny's, it was cheap. Well, she'll kill me if I say this. But way back, before we got married, she was on a diet when we were dating. So I ate, she only ordered a soda. That was great.
So Denny's is the cheapest date you've ever taken your wife. Now, Mr. Lavalle, you have 3 other opponents. Right now you have Jamie Atkinson, who lives in the Central District. You have Fadi Shaheen, who also lives in the Central District. And you have the newcomer, Lisa Ferry. You stated that you don't have any contributions, you don't have a committee like they do. So you stated that you're not going to raise any money. Realistically, it shows that $3,000 to $4,000 is needed to actually win an election. You're hoping to win this election by going door to door, passing out your orange flyers, and you want the people to know that you are a straight shooter, that you will be working for the people. What kind of solutions or proposals do you have to bring forward, and how many would you bring if you're elected in your first term as city councilor? Are you going to be a city councilor that just comes in, don't propose any agenda items or anything like that, or do you expect to come in and have an agenda item for each individual month that you have meetings?
Well, that's a tough question. I guess my thought is I don't have agendas per se, but to be honest with you, I am a firm believer in letting the government get out of your way. I probably will be accused of being extremely radical, which is fine by me, but I'm a firm believer in getting the government out of people's hairs. I won't be proposing new laws. I won't be putting restrictions on people. That's one of the things I do pride myself on. Unfortunately, we have a government today that, you know, if you got a headache today, we're going to make it illegal now for people to sit on chairs, you know. I don't buy that. You know, I'm not going to hamstring the businesses when they come in and tell them, oh, you got to do this, 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 and this, and then they look and, well, that's too much.
Where do you stand on the issue of voter identification for here in the city of Bethune?
100% for it. 200%.
It actually makes a lot of sense. I mean, we use driver's license to cash a check. We use driver's license to buy alcohol, cigarettes, whatever it is. You definitely need to have a license. The Attorney General indicated that it was actually unconstitutional to force a voter to go out and purchase a voter ID. Your driver's license is your actual ID, yet it's unconstitutional, but we're sending people who are broke to jail, and that prison is actually unconstitutional. Would you bring forward legislation, if you're elected, for Methuen that would require voter ID, but to be used as a driver's license or a state issue ID without the regular person that may not have the financial means to purchase a voter ID, to be able to use their driver's license or their state issue ID here in Methuen and make that a law in Methuen?
If you can, sure, absolutely. No doubt about it. And again, I didn't know if that's what your issues would be, but yeah, in a heartbeat. I don't know if you'd run into some backlash because of the Attorney General and especially the governor's not for it, which is sad. But it's funny you mentioned that. I was just listening to the Michael Graham show yesterday, and he was doing a list of things, and people called in. You know, I gotta go get a license and show you ID to be in a pageant. You know, and it's like, wow. But voting, I mean, to me, it's the most precious thing we have. You know, that's what my son's over there defending this country about. You know, and yeah, I don't like voter fraud, and I think that's disgusting.
And we thank your son for his service.
Thank you.
And we thank you for having your son. We thank you for coming in. I'd like to give you an opportunity to address your constituents in the Central District who will be coming out to voting in November's election. If you don't mind looking at this camera here and just address your constituents as to why they should consider you to be the next city councilor for Methuen.
Well, thank you. Well, Hector, again, I appreciate you having me here, and again, I make it very clear, I will be transparent. You don't have to worry about that, and I will be true to my word. Also, I'm asking, if you're watching this show today, whatever day this show comes out on and stuff, I want your vote. I want to prove that the people can vote, that they don't need a ton of money to spend and get out their message. This message is real. I hate using the word real change because it's been so abused lately, and people will say that and get in office and not do anything. Needless to say, our president. But it's time for real change. I am that. I believe I can make a difference. I believe I'm better than the other three candidates. Obviously, you've got to vote for one other. And I think the reason is because I come with no agendas whatsoever. I have no connections whatsoever. None. So please get out and vote for David Lavalle. Thank you.
Now, Mr. Lavalle, really quick, is there a website that they can go on? Are you active on Facebook? No. If you don't mind just giving out your phone number in case anyone wants to know more information about Dave Lavalle.
Sure. My phone number is 978-687-9286. If you want to call my cell phone and leave a message, that'll be 978-857-2341. And please be polite.
Well, we thank you for coming on the show and talking to our viewers and for being open and transparent to us. And we wish you the best of luck in the campaign trail, and we wish you luck on the November election. You've been watching Behind the Scenes. Join us next time as we go behind the scenes to ask the tough questions, bring you their responses, and we let you decide. Thank you for joining us.